What should I delegate? That's the question I want to help you answer today. I've written about delegation before. I've taught about it, as you know, in my book. You can get the Executive Leader's Handbook in the link below, completely free. You can download it for free. I talk about the different types of personalities and the different types of workers in the workplace that you're going to delegate to. But today, I want to talk to you specifically about a process for identifying what should you delegate. And I've heard it many times. You've probably heard it from leadership people before. If someone can do it 80% as good as you, some say 70% as good as you, then delegate it. But that's very broad, right? That doesn't really nail down what I should do. And so I want to share with you some fantastic material that I was recently exposed to. I'm certified in now. It's called the Lead Now model. And it's leadership material, 45 years in the making. It's been used with companies like NASA, Lockheed Martin, GM. And so it's tried and true. It's fantastic stuff. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. All right, deciding what to delegate. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to give you a couple of steps on how you can go about doing delegating this and supporting your team. But first, how do we decide what to delegate? And I love this graph here. So first, we want to have the axis going up there. I don't remember XY axis from math, the one going up, okay, vertical axis there. From low to high on the complexity level. How complex is this? Do you have to have an IT, background or degree or training to do this? Do you have to be trained in video editing? Whatever the case is, right? How complex is this? Next, we're going to see the level of importance, right? So you've seen some things like that when determining your priorities. What do I do first? And level of importance always has to be a factor, but we're determining today, how do I decide what I'm going to delegate? Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to start A, B, C, D. We'll just go around the quadrants here. A quadrant is an item, a task that is highly complex, but it's of low importance. If there's something in your day-to-day that is highly complex, if there's a lot of steps in doing it, but it's of low importance, then you want to simplify that task, figure out how you can simplify it. How can you break it down? A great way to do that, and this is what I talk to my clients all the time, and I know I'm there with you. If you're a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're building from scratch, we tend to forget this step, but we need to record the process, the steps that we take to do what we do. So if you can simplify it by simply writing down step by step what you do, then you can delegate that highly complex task and make sure that your team can walk through it. Next, B, you've got high complexity, high importance. When something is very complex and it's very important to your business, don't delegate it. You want to make sure that you keep that on your plate and that task belongs to you. Now, here's the tendency of a person that takes on too much, right? They tend to think that everything is too complex and too important to give to anybody else. But I really want you to think through this. How complex is this process and how important is it? And go back to the old 80-20 rule. You're going to have 2 out of every 10 items that you do on a regular basis, only 2 are going to give you that 80% return. So those are probably going to be those items that you specialize in. You want to make sure that you keep those. You stay in that quadrant. You stay in that B quadrant as the leader, and you try to get everything else pushed out. All right, C, low complexity, high importance. Low complexity, high importance. We want to guide, then delegate. Guide the person, walk them through the steps, because this is an important task. We've got to make sure this is done well, but it's not complex. It could be something, I'll tell you, something so simple in my business that I've had my kids do, highly important, right? If I'm doing a live training and I need some binders made up for my business. Now, this is not a complex thing, but it's very important. I want those binders to be in order. I want to make sure that my clients have a fantastic experience during the training. Holes are punched, everything lines up, it looks good. So what I do is I guide, I watch, they watch me do it. They ask questions. I have them help me do it. Then I watch them do it and I help them out. And then I just watch them do it, delegate it to them, right? Kind of that 4-step process of teaching. And that's what I do with those binders is I'll say, hey, here's how I want it done. And look, I'm paying you hourly. because I don't want you to rush. I'm not paying you per binder. I'm paying you hourly. I want you to take your time. I want this to be done very, very well. So low complexity, high importance. We want to guide, then delegate. And then if it's low complexity and low importance, man, we want to delegate that thing. We want to get that task off of our plate as fast as possible, because that is a time waster for us. That's a time waster. Okay, so that is how we decide what to delegate. Let me give you some bonus here, little power tip on this back end real quick before we go. And let me click to the next slide. So 4 steps to delegating. Just a 4-step process on how you can delegate. First, you want to identify what it is you're delegating, determine who, communicate, support. Let me give you some extra information here. So identify what are the requirements? What are the steps? What are the resources? What is the timing, right? Are we giving proper timing? If I'm going to have someone edit this video, then I need to give them proper timing. If I want it next week, then they need it this week, and I got to tell them what I want edited, where I want it, right? So requirements, steps, resources, timing. Identify what? Determine who's going to do it. What skills and experience does this person need? What do their strengths need to be to accomplish this task, right? We want to set our team up for failure. If they aren't good with words, they aren't good with talking to people, then we probably don't want them being the first person answering the phone or the person reaching out to prospects and making phone calls for us, right? Maybe they're a more behind the scenes person. Figure out their strengths and then make sure you put people in their strength zone. Capacity, development, all that kind of stuff. What do you need to do for them? Next, communicate. Why do I need you to do this? Why is this important? What are my expectations? And establish that protocol. Do you want them to do check-ins? When do you want those check-ins? Too often, I run into leaders when I'm working with my clients and they get frustrated. They say, I want them to just figure this out on their own. Well, you know what? There's a reason why McDonald's has been so successful, because they didn't say, hey, we make burgers and fries, figure it out on your own. No. It's a step-by-step process. This is how we assemble it. This is where the onions go. This is where the lettuce goes. This is where the pickles go, right? And that's why they're successful. Working with Chick-fil-A's, right? It has to have so many pickles. They have to go in the right order. They have to go in the right place. It can't be sloppy. You know, the bun has to be toasted to a certain color. You want that chicken not to be broken or split or damaged in any way. You want it to be a whole chicken breast that you present on that sandwich. So protocols, right? You got to communicate those things. And then finally, support. Give them support. Hey, I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to give you feed forward, right? Here's what you can do in the future. I'm going to have regular check-ins, and we are going to measure your success and evaluate. You are going to know along the way where you're at and how well you are doing. So I want to hear from you. How are you at delegating? What are the most challenging questions that you have as it relates to delegating? Put it in the comments below. I want to interact with you. I want to answer some of your questions. Make sure you download my book below, absolutely free, the Executive Leader's Handbook. You can get an audio version or a paperback version for free in there. And I'd love to talk to you. That was how and what do you delegate to your team? Have an awesome day. I'll see you next time.